Hello and welcome to How to Create Puzzle Boxes video 2. In this video we're going to talk about how we're going to prep the top portion of the peg to allow us to build the walls in the following video. So here you can see I already have it half started with the square peg portions created, and what we're going to do is going to go through the video of how I designed this and then also how I am going to create the round pegs as well. So let's first take a look at the square pegs and then go with designing the round pegs. So the first thing we're going to actually take a look at before we actually open the part itself is discuss how I actually created this square so that it is parallel with this line, these lines here. So if I actually go to the sketch that has that, what I essentially did is I actually did the sketch while in the assembly, and I modified the part so that this line here was parallel with this line. And then I essentially made it so that the square was centered about the pin, and then I extrude cutted it out and I made it 0.3125 plus 10 thou so that I can make one of the squares 0.3125, and we'll discuss that in the following video. But essentially this is going to allow me to have the size I wanted, and then I extruded it down, I think it's about 1.5 inches down. 1.5 inches down. Next, what I did is I essentially did a opening here. I'm planning on making my walls 1/8 thick, and with that being said, I actually made this 1/8 plus 10 thou, and again I had to center it about the center of the square, making these parallel so that I could do a cutaway that was appropriately in the same spot. And I did that for both sides. And then the last thing I actually did is I decided to make the material a little bit bigger by 1/32 of an inch to just give it a little bit more material. As if I go back, you'll see it's just a little bit too thin to my liking, so I just beefed it up just a little bit. And for now, this is how I'm going to do it. It may change in the following videos, but again, that just depends on how things come together. That's half the fun of doing design work. You may start something now, but then it may change down the road. So let's take a look at designing the round version and go from there. So here you can see I actually saved the square peg as a new part, calling it the round pillar. And then what I did is I actually just did an extrusion that got rid of the rectangles and just kept the two grooves so I don't have to redo them. This is something to keep in mind if you're doing parts that are going to have similar features, is make sure you get your features figured out, and then you can essentially put material back in and then recut new material so that it actually saves you from having to redesign everything. So now that we have this done, we're going to actually go and make a circle, and since the circle is easier to do, we can just dimension this to 0.3125, and you'll notice it's a lot smaller. So what I'm going to actually consider is maybe making it a little bit bigger. So in this case, I might actually make it 0.375 and extrude cut this to the same depth. And now we'll have a cutout like this. So essentially what this is going to allow me to do is in the following videos for making the walls, I'll be doing two parts where the two walls will actually meet up in this corner. But for the time being, this is how this is going to be prepped. And now that this is done, I'm going to save it, and I'm going to actually find these components. So this is something that would be good to keep in mind depending on your software, of course. So if you right click the part that you want to replace, you can actually go to component and replace or replace all. In this case, I know I want both of these pillars to be replaced, so I'm going to actually go right click, go replace component, replace all, sorry. And then I'm going to find my round pillar and click OK. So now you can see automatically both pillars have been replaced by the round versions, and now we have this prepped and ready to go for the next video for next week, which will be starting to create some of the walls. And now you can see as a puzzle box version, it's going to have to be connected a certain way so that you can't just piece it together simply. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, this is Tyler with 3D Printersaur, and I hope you have a great day.